At the first light of morning, the apostles obeyed the heavenly command without hesitation. They entered into the temple and taught, standing in the very place where their message had stirred opposition the day before. While they proclaimed the words of life, the high priest and his companions gathered with the full council and the Senate of Israel, confident that their authority still held. Believing the apostles were safely behind bars, they sent officers to bring them before the assembly. But the officers returned shaken, reporting a scene that defied explanation. The prison was shut with all safety. The keepers were still standing watch. The doors had not been forced. Yet when they opened them, they found no man within. Everything looked secure from the outside, but the inside had been emptied by the hand of God. The report struck the leaders with deep confusion. The high priest, the captain of the temple, and the chief priests heard these things and doubted whereunto this would grow. They sensed that something beyond their control was unfolding, something they could not contain by threat or imprisonment. They had attempted to halt the gospel by force, but now the prison itself testified that heaven had intervened. Their fear was not of the apostles' strength, but of the momentum they could not stop, a movement that was spreading, rising, and slipping beyond their grasp even as they tried to tighten their hold. This moment reveals how human authority, no matter how structured or powerful, is powerless against the purposes of God. The leaders gathered in their chambers planning strategies, while the apostles were already in the temple fulfilling their calling. The contrast is striking. One group plotting control, the other walking in obedience. One relying on earthly power, the other moved by heavenly command. For believers today, this passage reminds us that the work of God does not stall when opposition arises. Doors that appear locked cannot restrain His will, and those who stand against His truth often find themselves facing outcomes they cannot explain. When God sends His people to stand and speak, nothing in this world can confine the message.